Good morning, students. Welcome to our new class of Unit 1, in which we'll discuss about another life cycle model, that is iterative waterfall model. In iterative waterfall model, we'll discuss about the benefits of using it and how it removes the drawbacks of classical waterfall model and helps the user in performing the system development activities in a well. The iterative waterfall model provides the benefits than the normal classical waterfall model. In classical waterfall model, as we have already discussed, it is not a practical model, not used for practical actual projects to develop. It is helpful for only documentation purpose. And documentation of different life cycles, the documentation of different processes, documentation of different projects, everything we can do with the support of the concept of classical waterfall model. But in order to support the projects to be scheduled, planned very well and developed very well, we can take help of the benefits of iterative waterfall model. It is also simple and easy to understand as it is as the classical waterfall model, and it contains the processes in the same manner as the classical waterfall model. How it was in the classical waterfall model? Just like your waterfall, the cascade of waterfalls, and how your data is to be processed sequentially one after another. This type of informations were present there. Similarly, in iterative waterfall model, we can get it. You can think that the problems, those are solved using the classical waterfall model, also can be solved using the iterative waterfall model. The benefit is that in the previous classical waterfall model, there were some difficulties, like it cannot go back to a specific phase. It cannot identify the feedbacks. It has no feedback paths available in it. But in iterative waterfall model, all these benefits are there. The model is containing a feedback path in which every phase has a path to go forward as well as to go backward. If in the later case of the product development stages, if we are finding any problem in order to develop a practical software development project, then we can take help of the iterative waterfall model. Got it? It also makes changes in the processes even if it finished before. This means it collects the feedback. Whenever some process has, some phase has some drawbacks, problems, those can be reworked again. Finished phases also can be executed with this. And the feedback path also provides the benefit of moving to different stages, either forward or backward. And in case of your feasibility study part, the feasibility study part does not contain any feedbacks, because whenever your product is confirmed that it will be developed, then the feasibility part is over, feasibility work is over. Once the feasibility work is over, the product is started for development. If the product is started for development, then there is no way we can go back to the feasibility part, because there we have the possibility to confirm or reject the project. This confirm means we cannot go back in the case of iterative waterfall models. It is helpful for the developers applying simplest techniques of software development gradually and procedurally, as it was in the classical waterfall model. The small systems can effectively develop using this iterative waterfall model. The small systems have very usual concepts. It has very convenient paths. It has concurrent activities. It has sequential processes to be operated, and the concept is also smaller, so it can be easily developed using the iterative waterfall model. If your product becomes larger one, then the iterative waterfall model cannot handle it. When you'll think about how the iterative waterfall model actually performs, you can see the figure here, the iterative waterfall model diagram, in which the first part of the software development is your feasibility study. Then next is your requirement analysis. Next is your design. Next is your coding and unit testing. Next is integration and system testing. Next is maintenance. As it was in classical waterfall model, similar set of steps are present in the iterative waterfall model. Only the change here is you can mark the paths, the flow lines, those are indicating back to different stages. The back stages movement helps the user to look back, helps the developer to look back and correct the errors, if any, in the previous stages. Got it? When your requirement analysis and specification is executed, then it has the information present taken out from the feasibility study. When your specification document is prepared, it will start the designing process. Then it will go for coding and unit testing. Then it will go for integration and system testing. If at the time of testing the product, we found that there were some difficulties at the requirement analysis phase, due to which the product is not effectively working. Because at the time of testing, we are able to get the real defects of a product. If the defect is found at the testing stage, then how will rectify that defect? In order to rectify that defect, we have to find out the root from where the problem has been started. And the root is your requirement analysis and specification part. For example, if due to the insufficient requirement specification, insufficient information mentioned in the SRS, the problem arises, then we can remove it from that part and come back through the other respective stages. That is designing, coding, testing, then come to integration testing. At this time, the problem at the SRS part will be removed, and now the system will be proved okay and can be usable by the user. Got it? Then you can go to the maintenance part. Similarly, if in a maintenance part you will find some difficulty with the system, and the difficulty was there at the coding stage, from maintenance part also you can go back to the coding stage, correct the errors there, and rework on that phase and go through the rest of the phases, that is integration and system testing, then come to the maintenance again. In this way, the errors can be identified and removed. Got it? And this process makes the benefit of identifying the errors, rectifying the errors using the modifications. If any changes are to be made at different part, like your designing or coding or anywhere, then you can use the concept of iterative waterfall model. The iterative waterfall model solves the problem of classical waterfall model, or it becomes benefited to the user due to the phase containment of errors. Here it has a facility that phase containment of errors. What it means, the principle of detecting errors as close to their points of introduction as possible is the phase containment of errors. What does it mean? If a particular phase is being executed, as we have discussed about one example just a minute before, If a particular phase is being executed and the phase contains different problems or defects, due to the problems arised at the previous stages, then the previous stages problems can be removed using this method. The problem of a previously executed phase can be identified, corrected, and go forward if we have the facility of phase containment of errors. This is a very important software engineering principle. Identifying the errors in the respective place and correct it by going to that place. That makes the right way of solving the problems and giving highest customer satisfaction. If a particular customer will know that at the time of system implementation that there was a problem because of which his system is not working well, then he may be dissatisfied. And this problem can be solved with this phase containment of error concept. It is always desirable that when a particular phase is executed, the errors must be detected and executed, solved it there only. If solving the problem at a particular place, at that particular phase, as and when it is occurred, is not possible to identify, then we can rectify it by coming back to one or two phases. That is identifying the error and rectifying due to the phase containment of errors facility. If your particular phase containing error is not identified, then it may make different problems at the previous next stages, subsequent stages. So that may give many of the drawbacks to the user. Got it? And how your phase containment of errors occur. When a particular phase completes, the errors are detected and tried to solve there only. And if the errors are unable to be rectified there only, then still there can be some unseen defects arises and identified at the subsequent stages. Hence, the need of rework on the defective phase may lead to wastage of time, effort, cost, and overlapping of the phases. And when your defect is identified, where your defect is identified, because of what the error is identified, find out that the real cause or the real root you identify, then remove it. That is occurrence of phase containment of errors. Got it? When a phase is having some error, it is identified at the same stage or at the later stages. If it is not identified in the same stage, it is supposed to give you drawbacks at many places. And there you will identify that you have some errors at the previous stages that can be identified and removed here. Got it? What are the drawbacks of iterative waterfall model? The real life risk cannot be detected through this model. Real life risk, the frequent risks, those are supposed to come at the time of using the system, cannot be detected and solved here, because it is sequential, consecutive, procedural as your classical waterfall. The benefit is that a particular phase has certain error, then it can be rectified thereon, or it can be rectified at the later stages. This is the benefit, but the real life risk cannot be identified here and solved. The rigid phase sequencing of this model also creates many problems. The phase sequencing means what a phase will be executed other phase. Suppose at the time of system coding, the system coders are being busy with the coding. At the time of system testing has no work. The system testers have to wait till the coding is over. When the coding is over only, the work of the testers will start. System testing personnel will start. Integration testing personnel will start. At that time, the testing engineers have no work. Due to this, the work becomes degraded. The utilization of proper resources will be low. So the phase sequencing that is followed one after another may give many problems like this. Got it? Due to identification of errors at later phases, it may lead to cycle of activities to be performed repeatedly. Because of that, overlap of phases also may occur. If the error is identified at a later stage, third or fourth or fifth stage, then because of which problem the error is identified, we are finding out. And in order to solve, we have to go back to that particular phase and we have to come back again to the respective phase. If it is still not solved, we are again going back to the previous stage. In this way, there are several cycles of activities being performed in which your problem arises. Cycle of activities repeatedly executed means it is wasting the time. It is wasting the effort like that. Let us come to the effort distribution part. As in classical waterfall model, we have identified different phases requires what much of effort to use. Similarly, here first stage, second stage, like your requirement analysis, design, coding, testing requires what much of effort to be engaged. Let us have a view on that. The first stage of software development using iterative is your requirement analysis, specification, then design, then coding, then testing, then maintenance. And in case of your iterative waterfall model, all these effort requirements gradually increases because each and every phase execution performed one after another systematically. And when a particular phase activity is completed, the activity is leading to other activity to be performed. The sequential executions became going on. If some errors are identified, we are coming back to the phase again and we are finding out the problem where it is and we are reworking on that phase. It may require some extra time to do. In this manner, again we will go for the next subsequent phase of that errored stage. So in this way, the phases executed already once will be re-executed. In this manner, the effort requirement for all the stages will be multiplied. So here, the effort requirement increases from one phase to other phase. Got it? And these are the benefits and drawbacks of your iterative waterfall model. You can find the iterative waterfall model is sequential in nature. The iterative waterfall model given many drawbacks, repeated execution. We are finding out repeated execution of phases is done in which your effort requirement is more, your time consuming is more. This type of problems arises. And for performing already known systems, smaller systems, from previous experiences only, the iterative waterfall can work successfully. And those type of problems can be solved with a new concept, that is your prototype model. Prototype model requires a prototype to be prepared before the actual software development project starts. It is built using several shortcuts. What is the prototype? The prototype uses several shortcuts and use those shortcuts in order to prepare a toy model of the system. A toy implementation of the system is called as a prototype. And the toy implementation contains the inefficient, inaccurate, and dummy functions to be operated for solving a particular problem. When the problem arises, when a particular situation arises, when a process is there to be executed, then for solving that operation, what may be your subsequent operations, what may be your subsequent functions, what may be your subsequent variables. According to that only your process will be executed. For that, collect a set of dummy informations and using those shortcuts, create a toy implementation, a dummy prototype you prepare, then use that prototype for solving the particular need. If that need is satisfied, then that can be implemented as the right prototype for the system. The prototype model can be considered to be the extension of iterative waterfall model. The previously identified problems in the iterative waterfall model can be solved here. And we can build a working prototype of the system before the real project development starts. By taking the dummy functions, we'll prepare the prototype and start working on it before the actual system operation started. And that is your prototype concept. And prototype is prepared, the prototype is prepared to solve the system's needs. If it is proved to be accurate, then implemented for solving the system's needs. Otherwise, the prototype may be modified. When your prototype is proved that it is not working well, then the corrections on the prototype can be performed on its subsequent phases. And when your system is created a prototype, then it can be prepared using the input data formats, messages, reports, and interactive dialogues to the customer. And using those things, you can prepare the prototype for the system. Specifically, for which purposes your prototype model will be benefited, let us have a view on that. Your prototype model is used to develop a graphical user interface part of the system. Graphical user interface part where your GUI actions are executed, where your user interactions with the system are operated, where your inputs are taken and outputs are produced to the user, where your informations are seen as if displayed at a screen. That part of the system can be developed easily and efficiently using the prototyping model. It is also useful when the exact technical solutions are unclear to the development team. When the technical solutions are not known to the development team, development organization, then prototype model can be easily implemented there because it creates a prototype, takes it as a consideration, operate on it, apply the real data inside it. If does not work, make the modifications. In this manner, by experimenting, we can reach at the real solution. See, the exact solution is not known to us, then we can make experiments on it and reach at a exact solution. Got it? The lack of familiarity with a required development technology can be specified as a technical risk. And that type of technical risk can be resolved using your prototype model. Look at it. This is the diagram of prototype model. At the first part, your requirements gathering actions are carried out. After the requirements are gathered, it will start a quick design of the system. By looking at the quick design, the prototype information to be processed are contained in the design, and that will be lead to your prototype building. By looking at the informations present in the quick design stage, the diagrams present, the structure available at the quick design stage will lead to create a prototype. Then by looking at the prototype, the customer will decide whether the prototype is okay for him or not, as per his requirements. The customer is called here and asked for confirmation that whether he is thinking the system is right for him or not. The customer is asked, then the requirements are refined in the next stage. That is your refined requirements incorporating the customer suggestions. By looking at the customer suggestions at the customer evaluation part, the refinement will be done. Then by looking at the informations present in the refinement stage, again a design is prepared, a quick design is prepared. Then the quick design again will lead to building another prototype. In this manner, the cycle of activities will be carried out and the customer evaluation will be done again and again till the customer is highly satisfied that he is going to get the right product for him. So here frequent interaction with the customer can be possible. That will make the system more appreciated by the customer. The customer can be confirmed what he is going to get in hand at last. Got it? So when the customer is accepting the prototype developed as a dummy function for the system, then that prototype need to be implemented for developing the product. So by looking at the informations present in the prototype, the rest step of project development will start. The previous cycle of activities after the requirement gathering operation is completed is called as your prototype development strategy, in which the customer acceptance, customer knowledge, customer thinking is highly identified by the developer. And that cycle of activities will confirm the customer's requirements actually. Then the rest set of development stages will be performed using iterative development strategy. In your iterative development strategy, the same set of sequential steps will be executed because the prototype is already prepared. The raw layout of the system is already there. By looking at the layout, the rest of the development will be done. Means there is no possibility of doing reworks again and again. There is no possibility of getting customer dissatisfaction. In this way, the product development will be benefited at the next stages. So these are the phases of prototype model: requirements gathering analysis. In requirements gathering, the requirement will be collected from the customer by interviewing with them. Then quick design will be done. It is prepared by looking at the information present in the requirements gathering and analysis part. And this will be benefited for preparing your prototype. Then the prototype is prepared to work as a rough design for the desired system. The prototype can be rebuilt from rough design. It will be converted to the actual design after the customer acceptance. Got it? Next is your customer evaluation. Prototype is prepared. The developer thinks that the customer's problems are can be solved in this part, in this manner. It is verified by the customer whether he is really going to be satisfied or not. So here the customer verifies the strengths and weaknesses of the system and approves the prototype if he thinks okay. If the prototype is approved by the customer, then it is started development. Then the customer evaluation leads to the refined requirements stage. The refined requirements makes the prototype to be refined according to the suggestions gained by the customer. If it is not satisfied by the customer, then the additional information will be added into it and moved for preparing the quick design. And quick design will again lead to building the prototype. Then re-evaluation by the customer will be done again in order to confirm that the changes made into the prototype is also satisfied, is whether satisfied by the customer or not. There may be several cycles of similar activities with new suggestions occur and whether the user accepts it or not. Okay, after that the next phase activity will be started. So the refined requirements will lead to a quick design to be prepared again, then the prototype is rebuilt. If the redeveloped prototype is confirmed by the customer at the acceptance part, it will go to the next phase of development. Otherwise, it will go back again as we have shown in the diagram. Got it? Then further designing and development. After your prototype is prepared, according to the information present in the prototype, the rest set of activities like your designing, coding, testing, maintenance will be done by the developer in an iterative development style. The previous sections are done using your prototype style, and this development part will be done using the iterative development style. Got it? What are the benefits we are supposed to get from the prototype model? It provides a working model with a greater user acceptance. Here, the cases of user dissatisfaction is very less. That is the major advantage. The developer also gains larger experiences while developing the system because it takes the customer's views again and again and gains experience that in what manner the customers are being satisfied. This model also clarifies the requirements deeply. None of the requirements will be left behind unknowingly. All the requirements are reworked again and again. So the requirements will be deeply identified. Interactive systems can be efficiently developed using this strategy. The prototype prepares a rough model of the system, approves the system, then implement in the real field. In this manner, the customer is being interacted and again and again. So this concept also gives benefit of adding new features and again into the system and implement it in a real system. The interactive systems can be easily developed here, which were unable to be developed properly using iterative or classical waterfall models, and reduce the risk associated with the project. The prototype model also minimizes the risk that is leading with the project. What are the drawbacks of it? In order to gain the highest user acceptance, the cycle of activities performed again and again, and that will lead to many drawbacks. At the time of discussing, we have already pointed out on these points. What type of problems we are supposed to get? How the customer will be highly satisfied? Ask again and again. Make him communicate it again and again. Convince him in some processes. Motivate him in order to accept the function developed by you. In this manner, it requires highest effort, it requires more time to be consumed. It requires more number of technologies to be wasted. There may be many number of dummy functions retained again and again can be wasted, and rework also required in some places. So this type of problems may arise. But if you have some benefits to be gained, you may have to compromise with some of the drawbacks. So in some cases, you can compromise this concept that this type of drawbacks we are supposed to get in some cases. If you have a desire to develop such type of system, then you can get it, use the prototype model there and make your work done. The prototype can lead to false expectations also sometimes. And the false expectations may make the developer some inappropriate concepts to be applied. So when your prototype model is going to give this much of benefits to you, and you can develop an interactive system, you can develop the graphical user interface part of the system, then you may have to compromise in some regards and use it for solving that type of problems for using your prototype model. Got it? So today we have discussed about iterative waterfall model and prototype model, how the iterative waterfall model solved the problems identified in the classical waterfall model, and we have already discussed what the prototype model is actually doing. The role of prototype model you can feel a lot, that can solve the problems of both iterative waterfall model as well as classical waterfall model. It can be highly benefited for solving smaller problems with smaller set of risks, and interactive systems we can develop. We can easily gain user acceptance. There is less chances of getting user dissatisfaction. So with this, let us stop today's class. So in rest of the classes, we'll discuss about the other life cycle models. Thank you, students.